just because you don't know somebody doesn't mean that they're not a quality fighter. Doesn't mean that they're dangerous.
I've been watching Lima in preparation for this fight this weekend, and then I've also been listening to a lot of the fanfare in regards to how they feel about the fight. And from that perspective, you can see there's a lot of people that are already overlooking a guy like Lima when it comes to boots. I'm not. I look at him as he's a southpaw and he's a power puncher. You know what I mean? Every opponent that's in front of anybody is a serious opponent. But from your perspective, how do you think this fight goes, and how do you think Lima matches up against Boots at this point in his career?
I don't think Lima gets enough credit. And boxing fans should have learned this lesson a long time ago, because as boxing fans, we constantly look stupid over and over and over again. You disregard a guy because he doesn't come with much fanfare. He doesn't come with a lot of promotion. He doesn't come with a lot of name recognition.
Go ahead, I'm listening to you now. We had a little lag right there. You froze for a second. Go ahead.
Yeah. And we overlook him. He's a bum. He's a hype. He's a bum. He's a tomato can. He's a cherry pick. People said Lamont Roach was a cherry pick. I know you remember that. They said he was a cherry pick. Then all of a sudden, Tank became scary or a coward for not rematching him. It's funny, right? You're talking about in the span of a year.
First you ducking,
the dichotomy switch, right?
Thinking while you ducking, yeah.
Yeah. So, I feel like just because you don't know somebody doesn't mean that they're not a quality fighter. Doesn't mean that they're dangerous. Now, there are some things that Lima possesses. Seems to be very explosive, strong, tall, southpaw. A southpaw puncher is never going to be an easy night.
Nah.
For anybody. You have to find ways to neutralize him. Number one, the angle is difficult. If you're not used to fighting southpaws, it is going to be weird. Now you're in there with a southpaw that can hurt you. This is a new weight class. And Lima is the bigger man. Don't let the face-off fool you because he was in Balenciaga shoes. Lima is the bigger man. Boots is the smaller man moving up. And one of the knocks was Boots is a weight bully.
I don't think you can ever qualify for Boots, and I'll unpack that. But go ahead, finish what you're saying. I'll unpack why that can never be when it comes to Boots, and it's a reason, because it's a thing about weight bullies that is specific, and Boots is not that. But I'll tell you. Go ahead. Why? Anyway.
That was the narrative. The narrative was that he was this weight bully, and that they wanted to see him fight bigger opposition and see how he stacked up against a dude his size or bigger. And so that's what made this an intriguing fight. Everybody wanted to see him move up to 54. So now he's there. He's in there with bigger men. And now this wasn't the opponent that he wanted, but this is going to be a good gauge to see what he will look like in the division. And I see flaws. And are we talking about the flaws, or are we just talking about the initial fight?
Man, share your knowledge, man. When you say you see flaws, you can take it from an analytical perspective and tell me what you see, and then from there, we can talk about the fight as well. But what do you see when you see Lima, and what do you think the issue is? I know I see him too. I've been preparing for him because you told me to take a look at him, and from what I saw I watched the fight against him and Singh, and I said there's certain things that he does that if he comes into the ring with those things not cleaned up, I can see him being a problem against Boots too. So what do you see? And we can just compare notes, I guess, so to speak.
He falls in with the left hand every time he throws it. And it's not even a regular fall in, it's significant.
Yep.
And with certain fighters, you cannot have a glaring weakness. Something, if I see it.
Yep.
And you are a great boxing mind. Like, my boxing mind is nowhere near yours. No, I'm serious.
Yeah. But yeah,
you see it. If I see it, I'm 5-6 years in. I know Boots sees it.
Oh, for sure.
I know Bozy sees it. It jumped like it was the first thing I noticed. He threw a left hand. I said, "Whoa!" Then he did it again. I said, "Oh, okay, that's a habit."
Right.
All right. Legs are kind of all over the place sometimes.
Yeah. hit or miss?
Hand speed, not slow, but nowhere near fast.
Yep, average.
Only can punch when stationary.
Yep.
And doesn't bring his hands back fast enough. So those are the things that kind of like jumped out at me.
So I guess your analysis of him kind of tells me what you know is going to happen in the fight, what you think should happen, and so you think this ends in a KO.
Uppercut. Depending on how strong and sturdy he is, you might have to follow it with a hook.
Yeah.
But I think that the stab to the body is going to be essential. He's a big, strong dude. He looks like he's always in great shape. You gotta not a scoring blow, like you gotta sit that shit in there.
Mm-hmm.
I need to see that for the first 2-3 rounds, and I feel like that is set up. I've been seeing a particular shot in the gym. I'm not gonna say what it is because dudes be watching, but it could be the uppercut or it could be the shot, and I think that the stab to the body could set up the shot.
Understood. I already know what you're talking about, but I ain't gonna say that. But listen, when I look at him, I see a lot of the things that you pointed out. So there's a good eye there. And the other is his defense. Like when he's fighting, he's on a straight line. He's in and out on the same line. Even though he does have this little half step back that he does, but I don't think that he sees the type of sparring that he would need to be able to deal with a slick guy like a Boots in any fashion. Because he pulls straight out, whether it's with his overextended left or even when he's throwing any combination. I look at a fighter's head and look at the angle he's on. He's always on the same angle after he finishes punching. And every once in a blue, he'll move his head a little bit, but he's not really a mover out there, even though he's athletic. Like I watch him train and he's explosive. He has okay feet in training, but when it doesn't translate to his fights for some reason. So I'm not sure, and everybody fights different depending on who they're fighting. So I'm not sure if he's going to try a little bit more of that, thinking that he can incorporate some of that to try to give Boots some trouble. Maybe he tries it, but if it's not, if it hasn't translated thus far, I don't think his experience level is at a height where he can change his stripes at will and adapt to what Boots is going to offer. But that brings me to the point that you brought up earlier, when people's narrative of Boots at being a weight bully. There's a key element to being a weight bully that Boots can never be. A weight bully is a person who doesn't have the ability to truly defend himself, right? And when I say truly defend, I mean, when you watch a weight bully, you watch a guy that comes down in weight and they just eat punches, right? They can eat punches and people think that they either have a chin like Petto, Angulo, remember?
Yeah.
He's a large man. He walk around like 190, 195, but can get down, right? So it's hard to hurt him. Margarito, same thing. Jared Hurd, same thing. These guys get hit. The Charlo brothers, in my opinion, they get hit clean by guys in their weight division, and it doesn't look like it does anything. But guys can chop at him and it doesn't do anything. Boots is not a guy that gets hit. His defense is sound. So that's a guy. That's why he can be in the pound for pound conversation and not a weight bully conversation, because he can go to any weight and still keep himself safe because of his true skill and ability. That's not a weight bully. That's a guy that just can travel different weights and do what he does. Like, I don't look at Roberto Duran as a weight bully. He was a guy that was pretty big, can get pretty big, but got down to 135 and fought 140, 147, and so on. I don't look at those guys as weight bullies because they have the true skill to be able to defend themselves and actually be talented enough to make you miss and not just walk you down and walk through punishment. A weight bully is a guy who walks through punishment and doesn't really have the acumen or the IQ, in my opinion, to be able to sustain himself if he was trying the same thing with a guy his true size. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I think. But, so I see a lot of people just take it and they just plaster it off of anybody that cuts weight, and that's not a weight bully. Weight bully is a person that only is good because he's so large fighting at a smaller weight, not because he just happens to be able to make a lighter weight. You know what I mean?